Is your work feeling inconsistent? Or perhaps you feel constantly uninspired and you don't know what to create? It sounds like you need to discover your own art style. But what is an art style? There is a lot of emphasis placed on the idea of finding your art style in online forums and in discussions with newer and emerging artists, and I feel like it creates a lot of worry and anxiety for people. But all it really means is that an artist's body of work has a level of consistency to the point that you could recognize it was their art without being told it was theirs. And what this really comes down to is the choices that an artist consistently makes in terms of their technique, symbolism, and themes that creates a unique identity for their art. Art style is what makes an Instagram feed look consistent, but it's not a new idea. It's also what makes an exhibition in a gallery feel like it makes sense as a person walks through the space. Vincent van Gogh had a style, most successful modern artists have a style, and you can have one too. Step 1, gathering inspiration. The first thing you need to do if you want to create a style is you need to understand what kind of artwork you like and feel drawn to. You need to explore online, in books, and in real life. And when you find a piece of work that you really connect with, that you really like, you need to collect it and put it in a folder for later. I use a Pinterest board for this purpose, and I've been adding work to it for about 4 years now. I still use this folder to look at any time that I feel uninspired or like I don't know what I want to create. So I want you to go to galleries, go to your library and flick through the books in the art section and do a bit of scrolling online. You can look on Instagram, but I recommend you look somewhere that has things that are a little less zeitgeisty right now, like Pinterest. My recommendation is you try and go to the places where there are less people looking, because that will end up with a more unique result. Don't confine yourself too much when you are collecting your inspirations. If something shows up that you really love and it surprises you and it's not what you expected, still add that to the folder. Anything that you think is really amazing work is welcome on your inspiration board. And make sure that you are pulling your inspirations from many times, places, and contexts. Step 2. Analyze your data. Now that you have a folder full of work you think is incredible, you need to look through it really closely and figure out what this work has in common. Are there themes, subject matters, techniques, symbolism that reoccurs many times throughout the work in your folder? If we look at my Pinterest folder, we would see a lot of black and white illustrative images. We would see very limited color palettes. There is a lot of gothic or darker kind of symbolism and theming throughout the work. And you can notice that there's broadly a lot of really well developed characters and a lot of narrative building in the images. So the images themselves feel like they tell a story. That tells me a whole lot about the work that I want to create for myself. 3. Mix it all up like compost and grow something new. I would like you to think about your inspiration folder like a compost that you can grow new things out of. You've been adding to this compost with lots of great scraps which have been broken down over time into a rich soil. And now you are going to plant your seed, which is your own point of view, to create something totally unique. So take the ideas, the techniques and the themes from your inspiration folder and combine them in completely new way. Try to avoid repeating anything that is very strongly associated with an individual. We don't really need any more Vincent van Gogh paintings of different subjects. For me, using darker symbolism, making use of a limited color palette, and creating strong characters and narrative themes throughout my work are all things that I want to be doing as I create my unique style. Your project from your unique inspiration folder will be a totally different one, and that is the point. From here, you need to experiment. Draw drawings, make sculptures, and try different techniques. I have landed on printmaking personally over the last several years, but in this past year, I've moved from doing lino cut predominantly into doing etching, and I'm finding working in a new medium to be really inspiring, and it's really refreshing my ideas and making me do this work again. Try and make this final step something where you are in an active play. If something doesn't turn out, that's okay. That's part of the experiment. It's not that idea, it's not that direction. If something goes in a direction that you didn't expect but you like it, perfect. That's exactly what you want to be doing, and that's how you start building up your unique style. Happy accidents are a really big part of it. This is an ongoing project that you should never be done with. Anytime that you don't know what to make, that you feel uninspired, you should go back to this process and look at your inspiration folder. Think about different mediums from the one that you're creating in. You might like to think about things like movies, music, posters, books that you really like that have symbolism that you really respond to. Think about ways that you can combine these ideas in a new way that's totally different from what anyone else is doing. I hope you've found this video helpful. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more art making content from me, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every week. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.